Surprise, motherfuckers! As my friend Venger would say. It is a Friday before Memorial Day here in the States. Out in the dark studio, hello. Letting me cross. Probably thinks I'm one of those gay YouTubers because I got a selfie stick. That's right, I am on my way to do something. What could I possibly be doing? I will show you in a moment. You can't tell, it is a lovely day. Hope it stays like this the weekend. Hope you guys are having a great weekend too, wherever you are, in the States or across this lovely world of ours. Just headed over to the local park, which is only, 3 blocks from my house. We live in a beautiful tree-lined area. It's actually the best part of the city proper where we live. There's a lot of great suburbs around here. That's where everybody goes. Dumb us, me and my wife. We still live in the city limits, so it means we are run by almost literal retards. The former city council president of our city lives 2 doors down from me. She literally has birds flying into her house. My wife and I sit in the back of our yard and just marvel. These little tiny birds have made holes in her attic. And she has not done anything, so these birds just fly in and out of her house all day long. Must drive them crazy. That used to be the lead council person of our city, the 3rd or 4th biggest city in Pennsylvania. So, got 13. How you guys doing? See, I haven't done too many of these. I don't know if I can see the comments or not. Let's see. Don't know if I can see the comments. So, oh no, wait, there it is. Yeah, we will see the live chat. Hungry. Nightbreed. Hi, Israel. Yeah, gonna get a bit of a different crowd probably than the lair. All right, so I'm here. You can see, nice little park. That's not why I'm here. Double D's got to get after it. How is Double D going to get after it? The hill. So this is part of me getting back into shape. I am 6'3". Used to be 6'3", cold rolled steel, but I am getting up there. But that's not an excuse. So my son is getting married next week. So my wife and I said, my wife is in phenomenal shape. Literally looks 10 years younger than her actual age. And I used to work out like a fiend. But being a YouTuber is not conducive to working out. But you know what? That's just an excuse. So you find time. Like I start to work out at lunchtime at work. So yeah, I've lost about 5 pounds. Now I hit the heavy bag at work, a full gym where I work, which is nice. So I hit the heavy bag and a bunch of kettlebell exercises. But when I'm at home, I do have a kettlebell at home. But what I like to do to enjoy the outdoors is run the hill. Do you guys remember the 1965 movie? Sean Connery, Harry Andrews, The Hill. A great movie. Track it down if you can. It's about a group of prisoners. Not like prisoners of war, British prisoners, where they have misbehaved and they are taken to a penal camp. Sean Connery is one of the prisoners, and Harry Andrews is the officer in charge. And you might recall Harry Andrews. He plays a great kind of, he's not the lead villain, he's just kind of a shadow villain in The Hill. But he played the High Abbot in Hawk the Slayer. That's when, if you haven't seen the movie, that's who the actor is. Great movie. There's this giant hill in the middle of the camp, and that's how they break the prisoners and try to reform them. It is a great exercise. You know, at first you're like, oh, what is there to the hill? So I usually do, I go 5 up and down 5 times, take a little break, increments of 5. See, I'm almost at the top. Barely heavy breathing, barely sweating. Then you gotta go back down. Gotta be careful going back down. That's actually where all your injuries are. And I have tweaked my calf twice doing this. Obviously my legs are not used to this. So, you can find a hill. This will get you in shape real quick. I try to aim for 30 up and downs. Whew. All right. If you guys are a little bit out of shape, see if you can get after it. Whew. I may have to modify it because it's really hot out. And I don't want you guys just to hear me going huffing and puffing. As they say, let's check the chat. Looks great. Keith Whipple, first time live, yeah. Used to run a bit. Yeah, cardio. Ooh, you got a mountain Malachi, yeah. There you go. That's doing it. If you want to lose weight, like you have a belly, don't do sit-ups. You'll probably just wreck your back. Just do straight cardio. It's all, if you have like a beer belly, which I had a little bit of one, wasn't terrible, but I was getting up there. I was like around 215, down to 208 now. You know, with my frame, I'm 6'3", so I can bear it, but there was no hiding. I was getting a little thick around the midsection. Whew. Yeah, like I said, you can tell I haven't done this in a couple weeks. I have been hitting the heavy bag. Maybe I'll do a video of that sometime. I need some help. I need a conspirator, though, at work to come down and film me. Because you can't really hit the heavy bag with a selfie stick. All right, that's 3, I think. And there's really no time frame. What you want, what you're doing with this, it's really just interval training where you get your heart rate up real high, and then on the way down, when I'm going down the hill, I take my time, gives it a rest, and then boom, spike it back up. Obviously, if you're in really bad shape, consult your physician. I don't want to hear any of you say, hey, Double D gave me a heart attack. I was following his Superman workout. But wouldn't you know it? I popped my clock. All right, last one, and I can talk a little bit more. Whew. Come on, Stevens, up the hill. That was like one of the characters in that movie. All right, 5 times. Take a break. You're good, Double D. Whew. Run, Forrest, run. Yep. Hiking. going down to 200. Looks like Nick's it. I'm in the sun here, but I recognize your avatar. Good to see you. Nightbreed. Bicep curls, yeah. Knuckle push-ups, yeah. What I do is, whew, I was sweating like a whore in church. Yeah, I try to aim for 4 days a week at the gym at work. So 2 of those days, I'll do bicep curls and then overhead, just with dumbbells. Overhead with dumbbells. And you know what, I'm beyond the age where, you know, I need to have muscles from Brussels. I want to get tight and, you know, just have that strength. I got long arms anyway, so I'll never, you know, look like, you know, jacked and pumped, which is fine. I mean, if you guys ever have a chance, there's a video about how strong Wilt Chamberlain was. And if you looked at Wilt Chamberlain, you'd be like, oh, that skinny guy? Wilt Chamberlain may have been the strongest athlete ever. And if you looked at him, you'd be like, well, you know, well, good Lord, he looks like a string bean. But you start looking proportionally at how big those muscles are, because he was such a big guy. Holy shit. They're just stories that just will blow you away. There's like a 10-minute video of how strong Wilt Chamberlain was. So when you're done watching me, watch that. Yeah, so us long, lean guys are never going to look jacked, but that's okay. So I think I just do like 30, 35 pounds overhead. I do 30 with the bicep curl, and I just do that 8 times. Couple sets in between hitting the bag. And I'm good. I mean, I do other things too. There's a whole shitload of kettlebell exercises you can find. There's a series called Kettle Works with an X at the end. Those give you some real good basic exercises you can do with kettlebells. So just gotta buy a couple of those, buy a lighter one, and then maybe one for your max. And that shit will get you into shape. No time. Now this came in handy yesterday as I start my second set. Me and Mrs. D we got new granite countertops. Holy smoke. So we have a long countertop, and they only cut it into 2 pieces, the granite. All right, so the first one was really small. 2 dudes bringing it. Javier and somebody, they were really cool. I'm like, you guys need me? I'm like, I'm not just gonna sit there and watch you bring that heavy one in. Like, yeah, we could use you in the middle, sir. I'm like, okay, no problem. This MFer was heavy. I mean, we're talking well over 1,000 pounds. We get into the kitchen, they put it on blocks, and he wisely said, you know, even the 3 of us, we ain't gonna get this up. They're gonna call back to HQ and get another person here. And he did, even at that, 4 hands, pretty, you know, fairly in shape, able-bodied guys. Just getting it up on the cabinets. Oh my God. Like we were huffing and puffing. There's 2. But we got it up. Looks beautiful, except our old cabinets, or our old countertops, we had like that little lip at the end. Did not get that in granite. So now there's a bunch of glue on the wall. So we got to figure out, probably just going to do some tiling. Maybe I'll take some pictures, show you amigos. I thought I saw 50. Boy, 50. Watching your boy work out. Holy smokes. A couple other things I want to talk about. I think that was 2. I think I'm on 3. Yeesh. See, after watching me, you know, I can already feel, damn it, my calf is tweaking. Rats. All right, so I may just walk a little bit here, because I do not want this thing. I don't know what is the problem. I'm stretching like a motherfucker. It's gonna go, I think, though. I'll be laid up another week because it takes a week. Can I not just do the hill anymore? No, I'm gonna walk it because I'm still gonna get some exercise that way, and I can talk in breath. But I can feel it. It felt the same way before it popped last time. Felt like a little mini sniper gun got me. I didn't go down. I was just profoundly disappointed. Profoundly. We got 50. Yeah, 50. Let's check with you guys. Stone doesn't give. That's right, Nixit. Home for lunch. Krugus. Good to see you, buddy. Dracorian. Only once per year. Requires for a physical fitness. I tell you, we're getting old. Yeah, we are. Garibay energy, yeah. Gamers should learn how to take game ideas to fitness. Yeah, they should. Like, I think, honestly, I think a lot of the newer ones are. Because they're these younger pups. And they got a lot of anger in them. I think that anger keeps you in shape. Damn it, I really wish my left calf. My wife said, it's your shoes, dummy. And you know what? I did get a pair of slip-on sneakers. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe I had to swap these out for the ones I have at work. Because I don't need to do any major stuff hitting the heavy bag. Oh yeah, that calf is, it's gonna go, so. The hill claims another victim. I had a recovered memory as I was driving around. I went up to my folks' house, dropped something off. God love them, still alive in their mid-80s. So blessed to have them around. But as I was going by, you know, every city has their main drag, where a lot of businesses are. Like ours has a mall. But I remember way back, Barnes and Noble opened up. Talking like later, like 97, 98. And I remember I was working at a public accounting firm at the time. And for lunch, I just want to get out of there. Public accounting is such a grind. But what I'm remembering took place in the summer when it's not nearly as bad. But I remember going to Barnes and Noble and finding this magazine that I had never seen before. Arcane. Do you guys remember Arcane magazine? It's RPG related. I think it was from Great Britain. And I don't know, I remember buying a couple issues and I'm like, man, I like this magazine. I just remember there was like some prototypical, like, he looked like your prototypical loudmouth, larger gamer from back then. His name was Arnie or something. He'd always write these little editorials. They were amusing. You know, but they talked about stuff that, you know, maybe Dragon didn't. And, you know, I always like Dragon, but, you know, people forget that when you're in the time, sometimes you're going like, Dragon, this issue stinks or whatever, you barely read it. And there were a couple of those, you know, by that time. Because they were getting a little long in the tooth. But yeah, I just remember this magazine called Arcane. And I think I may still have a copy somewhere. One or two issues I bought. I think you might be able to get them PDF online now, just like everything. Did I pull something? Yep. Better food at the table, calorie deficit, yeah. Body adapts to activity, yep. Lift heavy weights, yep. Yeah, that's really all it is. Now I'm not, here's what I'm good at. Make sure I'm on point here with the hat straightness. So I'm not the best eater. Mrs. D will tell you that. Sometimes she'll make good dinners and I'll be like, I'm going to B-dubs here. She will roll her eyes. But you can either eat a really stringent diet, healthy, which I recommend if you can do it, but at the very least do what I do. And if you're not going to eat the best all the time, and I do eat some healthy stuff, of course, But it's just portion control. Oh my God. It's amazing how when I started to work out, I started this about a month ago. It is amazing how I'm not hungry at lunch anymore. And we have in this country this sort of thing like, well, it's lunchtime, you gotta eat, right? It's breakfast, you gotta have eggs, don't you? I'm not hungry, and I'm not hungry. Now, during the day, for some cheap energy, this will make some people's ears, bleed, but I'll grab a Mountain Dew. I don't have Mountain Dew in the house anymore, but I will get one at work right before I work out because it's great cheap energy. And if you look at all those like power lifters they're all in Scandinavia. There's a world strongman like Magnus Gustafsson. I'll be like, oh, what do you eat for your diet? I eat chicken and candy. And then I take a supplement, eat more chicken, and I eat candy. Well, they eat candy just because gives you that cheap energy to get through your workout. So now if you overdo it and that's all you're eating or drinking, and you start getting a belly, like Double D was, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But do it strategically, and it'll power you through a workout where you're gonna blow through all the calories you spent drinking or eating that and more. And then guess what? I get back to my desk where I would normally eat lunch. I'm good till dinner. Drink some water, of course, after, because you're gonna be a little dehydrated. So you always want to make sure you're drinking a little bit of water. But yeah, I'm not hungry then. It's just totally amazing. You can train your body. If you train your body that you're eating every day at noon, you're going to start getting hungry at that time. But a lot of times, are you really hungry? I don't know. I think a lot of times I wasn't. And I was just like, well, it makes me feel good. Sure, I love walking down to wherever or the cafeteria and getting something to eat. But guess what? I probably wasn't really hungry. So, if you are hungry, eat. God gave us our bodies. He probably didn't say, God created man and woman, and he said that at noon every day you must eat. Eat when you're hungry. Sorry. A loogie. The calf is settling down. It was angered up, but I'm still not going to push it. So I'm just going to keep walking this because I am still sweating. That's another thing too. If you're exercising, if you're not sweating, look, any activity is better than none. So if you want to take a walk in the evening, it's better than sitting on your ass on the couch. But always sit your ass every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fiddle there. But yeah, if you're a grown man and you got a little bit of toughness up here, make yourself sweat. At the very least, just do some push-ups. Do a little bit of light running. Turn that walk into a light run. All right, so let's go back here. There's a couple other things I want to talk about too, but I want to check in with you guys. That's the hormone gremlin. Yep. If you fast long enough, you can control the gremlin. Yeah, exactly. Just the first couple times you're working out. Look, if you can only work out in the evening, and you can convince your wife or whatever, if you have one, honey, I may not be hungry for dinner, or something very light. And let's say you do eat a big lunch because you haven't eaten in the last 24 hours because you've been following, the program. So you eat a big lunch, and then you go home from work, and then you work out. And then guess what? You're not hungry for dinner, just like I'm not hungry for lunch because I work out at lunch. Nothing wrong with that. Or just have something light, fuel yourself back up. People will tell you all kinds of nonsense like, actually, you need to overeat to lose weight. It's like, no. Diet and exercise, that's it. It's a caloric loss. Everybody thinks these shots, and look, if you're in a dangerous situation, I can see where those shots, like Ozempic, might save your life to get you kick-started. But also, those things do is curb your appetite. So you can either have a drug do it, or you can develop some, kind of maybe a little bit of mental toughness if you can, and do it yourself. That's probably a better long-term solution, because even at some point you're going to go off that drug, and what's going to happen? You're going to fall right back into those habits. So, all right. Arcane magazine. Track it down online. I'm sure you can get them. It didn't last long, but it was an interesting little magazine, and they had good production value. Like I said, I think I found it at Barnes and Nobles. Oh, we got Nick Rado, that situation. You guys been following that? Now, on the Lair this past week, I played the infamous, drunk, wanking off section, but in case you guys aren't online or don't know, but old Nick got arrested, which was not probably surprising. But it was not just for drugs. It was a couple of drugs that he got arrested for. But also he must have a gun somewhere. I don't know if they arrested him in his car and he had a gun in the car or something. So there's a gun violation. Oof. Not good. Drugs and guns. Even if you plea it down, they're still going to want a little bit of time. So my guess is he's going to do a couple of months in prison. But who knows? He's a lawyer. Well, I used to like Nick, and the more I learn about it, this last year when I kind of started to nope out of watching his stuff, mainly because there wasn't many big trials to follow. Like last time I followed him in earnest was like the Rittenhouse trial. But boy, he turned into a real scumbag. So not only did he get arrested, his wife got arrested on the exact same charges. 5 kids. So I'm like, what's going on? And then I see this woman, April Imholt. Oh, wait, that name sounds familiar. Well, her husband is Aaron Imholt from the Steel Toe Morning Show, YouTube. And he, kind of started getting the last half year. So it seems like Aaron Imholt and his wife April, they live up in Minnesota, made friends with Nick and his wife. Yeah, they're YouTubers, right? That was some comedy, maybe they met at some comedy club. Well, then Aaron made the fateful decision, like, yeah, let's start hanging out together. And boy, talk about decisions that just, in retrospect, throw your life into chaos. So yeah, he's been spilling the tea on his show. And Aaron seems like regardless of why he did it, maybe he thought like, I get to kind of ride the coattails a little bit of Nick Rado. Maybe he can help boost my show, and maybe he did. But at what price? Because he immediately said like, drugs 24/7, which is okay. I'm all for adults, consenting adults, doing whatever, especially in the privacy of their own home, as long as it's not hurting anybody. You got 5 kids in that house. I couldn't picture a reality where my wife and I, when our 2 kids were younger, say, hey honey, break out the cocaine, break out the Molly, let's go to town. Kids are upstairs. What? You kidding? Holy shit. That's where I say, okay, yeah, he needs help, but you're also a bit of a scumbag. And I'm not saying you can't come back from that, especially if you come out later and say, yep, clean, sober, I was a real fucking scumbag. I can't believe what I did to my kids. that shit will affect your kids down the road too. They will start to try different things when they realize mom and dad are people you cannot depend on anymore. They will seek other options, and those options are not good. So, but yeah, so I guess what happened over the course of this past half year is Aaron Imholt lost his wife to the Ricadas. Well, to drugs. Because Aaron Imholt was wise enough to say, you know, this is starting to, this has the ring of a 1980s movie with Andrew McCarthy or something like that. You know, was that one like Less Than Zero? Just living life in the fast lane, the YouTube fast lane. God, I can't imagine it. These people all need to keep their 9-to-5s. Keeps you grounded. Maybe none of them even had 9-to-5s. Keeps me grounded. I gotta go in and punch the proverbial time clock 5 days a week. So YouTube is my avocation, not my vocation. So yeah, his wife, who's, you know, beautiful woman. You know, and Aaron's not a bad looking guy, but he's kind of like, probably like a lot of us, like me. You know, not like not a handsome devil, but probably a decent guy, maybe a lovably dorky. But I guess she saw Nick Rado and said, yeah, that's what I want. Well, she wanted his fame. Let's face it. So there's this, I think this weird relationship started where she was like a live-in, man. I mean, at its base, like a live-in prostitute, essentially. I mean, in that video, apparently, you can hear her, like she was giving him a humdinger under the table. I don't know if that's what was going on during the famous scene or what, or he was just stroking it. But when everybody saw what Nick looked like during that, to me, like, let me put myself in April's shoes. I look there, I see a literal ghoul, because that's what Nick looked like a Dybbuk, this vengeful spirit. I mean, just gaunt, hollow-eyed, almost possessed by a literal demon. As a girl, what would make you say, like, what I want to do right now is go over there and have that person in my mouth. Talk about being lost. But you know, I think she's 29 according to the to the arrest report. Sorry, no passes. You bitches get too much credit, too much leeway, too much everything these days. And I was watching the Steel Toe Morning Show. Her, you know, soon to be ex-husband. They're separated, soon to be divorced. He was even saying, like, has she asked me to bail her out yet? No. You could tell he was contemplating it. And I'm like, brother, I think I typed in the comments, do not do that. That bitch needs to sit in jail and realize how right you were when you told her, get out of that house. Nothing good is going on at that house anymore. He was relaying these stories, like he says he'll hate Nick Rado forever. But just the drug use was just off the wall. And he said something, I know he's telling the truth, because this is 100% spot on. You know, smart people who are committed to doing dumb things, self-destructive things, you can't talk them out of it. And he would try to, you know, do that with Nick. And Nick would just sit there and rationalize, because Nick is one of these guys who always thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. I've seen those people before, and you may love them, okay? But all you're trying to do is, like, you know, you're just like holding up a mirror and saying, like, hey, you know, maybe this isn't the way to do things, not just from my point of view, but like society's. And they will just rationalize it away. Nope, you're wrong. I'm smarter than you. Well, yeah, you may be smarter than me, but are you wiser than me? Because I'm wise enough to stop, in Aaron's case, stop doing the drugs. in my case, never really start. I never, I used to do a fair bit of drinking back in the day, but I would call that social drinking. Except when I was like 19 through 22. But that's a boys will be boys. Plus that was a different time. But yeah, I think I smoked dope, like marijuana, like twice in my life. Never did anything for me. Then when I was kind of watching the effect it had on people around me, I'm just like, nah, this definitely isn't for me, but just kind of saps the energy out of people, and all it does is mask things. But they were way beyond that. They were way beyond it. I mean, if they were just smoking dope, you would have just said, come on, do better. You really shouldn't be doing that. But when you're doing ecstasy, coke, Molly, with 5 fucking kids in the house, you're a scumbag. So he's scumbag 1. But, but I gotta say, women, not only do you not get any leeway or sympathy from me here, but you get a little extra. And his wife, now you talk about a bad mugshot, woo, his wife's faces of meth caliber. I was like, holy shit. I think I had seen a picture of her one other time, and she looked like a normal, kind of okay looking woman, especially a mother of 5. Like, look, you will get some leeway there. Like, holy shit, that's mother of 5, looks like decent shape. Godspeed you, honey. But when you're a mother, you're allowing all this to happen in your house. Sorry, I'm old school. In matters like that, the women should sort of have a, if you're in a good marriage, they should kind of be that guiding principle. Like, hey, is this right for the kids? Is this, I know they can go overboard sometimes, especially with modern day helicopter parenting. But holy shit, she's addicted to all this stuff? What do you do? What are you, fucking high on coke? You're reading your kids The Hungry Caterpillar? What the fuck? I mean, there were times when, obviously, when Mrs. D and I would go out, but, we get a babysitter. Guys, we love you. The babysitter will put you to bed, and maybe we'd come back a little tipsy. Not smashed drunk, but you didn't see us stumbling around the house like retards. But a mother who allows that to happen under her roof with kids, to me, she's every bit the equal of a villain as Nick Rado. Every bit the equal. Sorry. No mercy. Sweep her leg. Sad situation. Because that Aaron was showing like pictures of him and his wife like just a few months ago. It must have been during football season because they were at a Vikes game. And you could tell a little bit. Like he's genuinely happy. And she's a little like, yeah, I like this guy, but I like the camera better. Well, when you like the camera a little bit better, guess who you're going to go to? The guy who has a lot of sway on that camera. So instead of helping build her husband's channel and his show to be the best it could be, she said, "No, you know what? I think I'm going to try the Amy Winehouse lifestyle for a little bit, honey. Why don't you go fuck off?" And he's like, "Really? Really? Huh, okay. I guess we're done." And he probably told her, like, it ain't going to end well. Well, now she's sitting in a fucking jail cell. They do you some good, toots. Women like that should regret everything they've done up to that point. It's not like I'm not anti-woman. God, the good Lord, I have a daughter. I have a wife. We're happily married. My daughter is like a mini-me, even more so than my son. My son's cutting his own way. Love him too, of course, but my daughter and I just agree on a lot of things and see life the same way and have similar interests. So I love women. But nah, sorry, you're getting a little too big for your britches these days. Let's see what the chat's saying. I'm jacking off to this. God. Yes, Ty. Bro, Imagine Dragons. Is that the group? Going backwards here. Hey, Dubs, hope is all, but I don't know or care about Ricade or whatever. Got balanced good rolls. Yep, no problem, Jim. I'm just going stream of consciousness here. Whew. Your favorite sunglasses, Ben is mine. Yeah, these are photochromatic here. I think they go back to regular glasses. Starting to look like Rod Steiger when I'm out of the get-up. It's okay though. It's okay. What else? I had a couple things written down I wanted to talk about. The Ricada. Look, everybody talk about the Ricada thing, and I understand some of you ain't gonna care about that. But it is YouTube stuff. I do YouTube. Oh, here's something. Here's something up here. Did you guys see the cover to that World Realms book by Wizards of the Coast? It's more like a coffee table book. It's kind of one of those combo, like, we're going to talk about D&D settings. I think they threw Greyhawk in there as red meat to all the grognards who aren't hip to what they're doing. The cover is an update of the Earl Otis. I think it's Earl. I always say Errol. The Earl Otis magenta box. It's like a more, I guess, what you would call like maybe a more realistic version of that. Now, I think, as you guys all know, I am a huge fan of the original, but this World Realms cover I like. It's a good cover. I mean, all the artwork they could have used for that player's handbook. And they use one that's just either muddled, obviously DEI inspired, and under their noses all along is this perfect piece of art. Check it out. I think it's called World Realms. But yeah, you'll see it's the sorceress, the fighter with the spear, and like they kind of clean it up to look like an actual dragon now. That's probably my least favorite part of the picture. It's still good though. Obviously, as I said, let me reiterate, love the original. But holy smokes. What a bang they could have gotten off of that. Because the new players are too dumb. They'd be too dumb to realize on their own that it's a homage. Or I think in the art world they called it an after. Whoever the artist was, after Errol Otis. But they probably would have loved it too. Got a woman, a man, and a dragon. Perfect composition. 3. But no, they decided to hijack a piece of art. If you saw the artist's original sketch, he had like a wizard in the middle with a big white beard casting a spell, and then people like Tanya DePass got their fat little grubby fingers in there and said, she gotta be a sister. And showing his real artistic integrity, he said, yep. If you're the artist, why don't you just go like, no, this is the way it's gonna be. Sorry, I don't compromise on my principles. This is how I see the cover. So no, he's a coward. He's not a bad artist. He just, that composition of that cover that got released was just a mess. It was ill-conceived. He can draw for the most part a figure. Yeah, there is some anatomical issues, as we all saw. But given the right setup, he's okay. Especially if he's the one that drew that dwarf charging. I mean, if they were going to go with another picture, aside from the World Realms one I just talked about, maybe that dwarf, boy, that would have been something. If he drew that, then damn, he is good, because that's a kick-ass picture. I know a lot of people are saying AI. I think they're so cognizant of that now that I think they're requiring them to the artists to show their stages. Now, I'm not saying they don't use AI for inspiration, because even my own artist Rogan, who sits in every week, says, oh yeah, for some of his work, for some ideas and stuff, he'll pull it up. Now, he doesn't trace anything or anything like that. It's a reference tool that's here to stay, AI. So now I think you do have to be careful, because if you reference it too much, does your art start to really resemble it? Even though you did draw it, you freehanded it, but does it get in that sort of blanched out AI look? Possible. But I'm gonna respectfully, I'm not gonna take anybody's, take the piss out of anybody saying it's AI, because who knows, you could be right, and if you are, I will give all glory to you. I just think they're being so careful about that, especially these days, that they're probably not going to allow that. They're going to require some work in progress shots, which is smart. And if you saw with the Game Informer article, they released it. Unfortunately, you also get to see what could have been, as opposed to what was. And what was garbage. But what could have been, the composition still might have been messed up. If he was going to include that gold dragon, it just screwed everything up. Like 2 dragons. What's better than a dragon on the cover? 2 dragons. Well, one you can barely fucking see, and that should be the focal point. That's who they're fighting. Not their giant gold dragon pal. As good as that head was that he drew, I'm sorry, it's ill-conceived. And I believe I said this on Twitter. You can tell it's ill-conceived because Fat Matt Colville, went out of his way to praise it very publicly, and he did so while tearing down old D&D art. Like the fighter busting through the door by, what's his name? Come to me. Sorry, I'm a little lightheaded. Yeah, so when Matt Colville is praising you and then feels the need in the same tweet to tear down old art, what he's saying is, I know this art isn't very good, but I want to praise you to encourage you and encourage Wizards of the Coast for not being old school. That's why Matt Colville is a tub of goo. Do you think Matt Colville's out on the hill like your boy here? You think Matt Colville is going to be doing 100 front porch swings with a 45-pound kettlebell after this? No. He's going to be bragging about his VIP tickets. I'm Matt Colville. I have VIP tickets. Did you ever wonder why? Some of those old videos of his were actually okay. It's like one of those things that, in retrospect, yeah, they're cringy. But at the time, you're like, hey, this is cool. This guy's talking about D&D. Nothing wrong with that. Then, like, down the road, you're like, ooh, God, what a dope. That voice of his. He looks like MODOK. No neck. My name is Matt Colville. I had VIP tickets. VIP tickets. Mr. VIP tickets himself, yeah. So when Fat Matt is praising it like that, instead of saying like, hey, I love this part of the thing is, I was being more detailed. What is that? What the fuck? Did you see that? Your boy's done. Yip, 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 yip. I'm all right. No, nobody worry about me. Jesus Christ. What is it? Holy shit. We got tremors, boys. We got miniature tremors. I think it's off into the grass now. Did you see that? I'm stopped and I'm watching the ground in front of me just bubble up. Oh, I'm not going to court that anymore, so I'll keep talking until I get to my street. I walked over here. For those of you that tuned in late. You never know what you're going to see on the Double D show. Look at this beautiful. They like people who live here like to down our own city because we are always, we are snowbound usually for at least a couple months out of the year. We're always in competition for that golden snowball, snow globe, whatever competition. It's always between us, Buffalo, Syracuse. We've won it a couple times. But holy shit. In the summertime, you won't find a prettier place. Pretty cheap to live, too. Beautiful northwestern Pennsylvania, shores of Lake Erie. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Is that a ball? Ugh. I don't know what that was. So yeah, the old cover debate. Look, it's done and over with. I don't know. It's like they're like the Joker's doctor in the 1989 Batman. Even if they wanted to do better, you know, remember he's like, "You see the tools I have to work with," you know, when he botched the Joker's face. That's Wizards of the Coast right now. Even if they wanted to do better and they don't want to, they don't have the tools to do any better. Shit writers, subpar artists, I would say, is okay as that artist is. I don't want to down any artists, but I mean, they're not the best and the brightest. Ladies. I feel like the OG GM here taking a walk. He's out in Cali though. You hear the sirens. It's a nice house here. I do believe a couple of I think I have seen a pride flag on that house, but I believe it's a couple of guys who live there, and they take care of their houses. It's very nice, so I'm all about that. Idly ho, neighborino. So I'll go down this street. Mine is one over. Ooh. Little car here. Good to be alive, people. You never know. Like I said, you could be like Nick Rado and end up in jail. No. Hopefully that ain't gonna happen to your boy here. He lives a very peaceful 9-to-5 existence. He's got Mrs. D to keep him in line every time he tries to step out, so I was one of the lucky ones. I would not want to be in the dating market right now. I do believe all these guys' stories about what a nightmare it is. I couldn't imagine. Especially if you're trying to, like, I wouldn't even try to approach any woman at work. Like, I sit next to a couple of, younger women. We have a great relationship, but man, I am very purposely the old man. Subjects never turn to anything that could get me fired. It's always about work, or if it's about anything other, it's Oh, what did you and your, boyfriend? Oh, that's great. My wife and I did this. If I was a young buck trying to get some, I would be really gun shy. Really gun shy. Because you can be hauled into the HR office. By the way, I work for a Fortune 500 company. Everything you hear about HR departments is true. They are ground zero for any bullshit entering your company. Ground zero. I know one woman in the HR department who's a Trump voter. She's based, but I think she has to keep it a secret. Did you guys see the rally? Well, Trump. I'm going to cross over here. I'm going to get over. The Trump rally in in the Bronx, right in AOC's backyard. Apparently there was around 20,000 people, depending on who you listen to. Love it. Boy, I am cautiously optimistic. You never know what's going to happen. I was optimistic in 2020, but I sort of knew, and I think as every Trump voter did too, that the COVID thing, whether it's, obviously it wasn't his fault, but he was going to get blamed for it. And that's sure enough what happened. These Democrats who come in sometimes are so lucky. Like Obama, literally the economy had one direction to go, up. So he comes in like, oh, he's a great president. No, he's one of the most divisive. Obama was one of the worst foreign policy presidents ever. Domestically, he wasn't quite as bad. Economically, I should say. Socially, he was awful too. Economically, he wasn't terrible, because I think he did keep the Bush tax cuts. He did some favorable things for business, some not so favorable things. It wasn't nearly as bad economically as I thought he was going to be. But he did just kind of take credit for, what was essentially, like I said, an economy that had only one way to go. I mean, if it had held off a couple more months, that whole 2007 recession, or I don't know, who knows? Oh well. Get to hear my political ramblings. But yeah, I am cautiously optimistic for 45 this time. Hopefully it's 45, 47. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you something. Maybe we can see that blue house? That's the house I was telling you about with the birds. So we'll go in my backyard and we'll see if we can do some bird watching. She got bats in her belfry. Birds in the attic. I gotta be careful if she's on her porch. She's a kook. She used to be nice, actually. Now her house is kind of falling apart. Just like she is. All right. I was going to show you my house, but you might get my license plate here, so got to get the power washer there. There's my old countertops from yesterday. Those are gone. You get to see the beautiful yard Mrs. D keeps. Jacko, how you doing, buddy? That's our neighbor cat, Jack. We thought he was dead because he's an outdoor cat, and he would always come to our back door for treats. But so we're like, holy shit, he got run over or something. No, but the neighbor said no, he just went through a phase where he didn't want to go out. Here you go. Hey, Jack. All right, so I'm going to show you. See if you can see any birds here. You'll at least be able to see the holes. Don't see any. Hey, Jacko. Come here, buddy. How you doing? It's our boy. Glad to have you back. He's a killer. He will. We love him because he keeps the chipmunks away. Hey, I gotta go around front to open that door, buddy. Come here, Buckaroo. There you go. Look at that. You guys, boy, you guys are getting spoiled today. First, you get to see an underground terror threatening your boy. And you get to see Jackaroo. See if you can get see if Arcade Vega. She usually goes. She got used to him after a while, but then he showed up after about 2 months. She was like freaked out. She's like, she's like Isaac Hayes in Escape from New York. I heard of you, Jack. I heard you were dead. But he's back. How we doing, buddy? All right. Well, you guys are getting the full Monty today. Yeah, the cat's like, whatever. Yeah, Surly. Cat came back. Good. World Bigfoot Central. Who the hell is Matt Colville? I have a video on that, World Bigfoot Central. Just go back through my channel a couple months back. You'll see that. You get to see all the Matt Rats, too. All the Matt Colville fans who defend him. They would, as one of them said, if he sold his used toilet paper, they would buy it. Oh, look. He's doing the flop. We flopping? We thought he was like a pod cat. We thought it was like a sister or something. Trump 2024, hell yeah. As we get closer to the election, I'll bust out the MAGA hat just to trigger people. Must be some irrelevant kid. Yeah, well, irrelevant fat middle-aged guy, but yeah, more or less. Oh, now I'm going to go backwards. Cat Cam Mercurius, yep. It is a really good, this is one of the best neighborhoods. The shores of, we have a beautiful bay at the bottom of our street, literally not even four, like 2 blocks down. You just kind of look, the trees are growing up now. As they're getting bigger, it's kind of harder to, but you can kind of just watch the sailboats in the summertime just go through. Very blessed. Marzo Valentine, such a boomer stream. Hey, Gen X Marzo, come on now. Ooh, Mercurius, $5 Australian. Thank you very much, sir. I hope I didn't miss any other super chats. If I did, let me know. Thank you, Mercurius. I appreciate that. A boomer stream. Maddie Q, what's up? How you doing? Obama, one of the worst presidents in the whole. Yeah, Evan, I would say so. Yeah, a couple of things he did weren't as bad as I thought. That's all. I would not defend him though. Yeah, people like way underestimate like how bad he was. As a foreign policy president, racists come to you. Yeah, like I say, I'm not going to get to. Oh, Meat's here. AOC put her glasses on top of her head for on-camera time. Bleeker's here. I didn't get my share of grief from you because I was too busy doing things. My wife is a hiring manager, and her HR department only kept sending her resumes with black names, not even qualified applicants. So she used a temp pages. A good job. You mean if the name was Shamiqua, they were put on the top of the list? What are you doing, Jacko? We call him Wacko Jacko. Playing dead. Let's see. Yeah. The Bronx. Smallest of small talks. That might go, who are you? You don't even have a surname. Have a great and amazing day. Continental Movies. Yep, thank you, sir. All right. And George Floyd was coming to him. He was a bad guy. I don't think anything he did was deserving of death, but it's that old thing. How much did he contribute to his own death? Yeah. Don't, look, I don't. There are certain actual communists who want bad things for the world. Those people might need to take a long walk off of a short something. But generally, if you're a bad guy, as a Christian, you got to hope that people can get better. Like I said, like Nick Rado and his wife that we were talking about earlier. He's still scummy, but look, always hope for redemption, right? Wouldn't you want that if you did something bad? We're all human. Taking over student loans and housing loans, yeah. Uh-oh. Who spelled moron? You guys fighting in here? Bro dead. George Floyd is 4 years clean and sober today. That's a good one. That's a good one. Gen X for the win. You got it, John. 2 neighbors have half a dozen semi-fu. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah, you can't have all of them because then they become a nuisance. Communists like Biden, he's just kind of a useful idiot. I honestly think Biden doesn't. I don't know what he does. I literally think his day is planned for him. What he says is planned for him, and he's just okay. Does it excuse it? No. But there's this kind of shadow government sort of thing now. I mean, just look at some of the ways, and it's not his stutter. They always say like, "Well, he's got a stutter." No, he's Look, my parents are in their mid 80s. I wouldn't want them running the country either, as based as they are. It's just sorry, he's old. So I put these on because I look cool. Like I said, get that Rod Steiger look about me. But these are faraway glasses, so to read, I have to do this. Joe Biden is a joke. Yeah. He sure is. Watch this kill the last hour of time at work. Fellas, trust me. If you want to see some creatures, come get a part-time job at a local game. Oh, my lord. Tactic 26. Yeah, I was really big into our local game store. It's a good store, too. But even though I enjoyed going there quite a bit, I haven't been there in a little while. So honestly, I kind of had to give one thing up to do the YouTube thing, and it was doing a lot of the historical games and painting that I did, so that's been neglected. But yeah, you'd see some weird people. I played like some 40K games. This one dude, he wanted to win, like it was like a kind of like a league, I guess. It was like an 8-week league, so you went down, played your games whenever you could during the week. This dude, he wanted to win so bad. One of my, I played the Imperial Guard, and one of my tanks was touching the outside of a wall. And he's like, oh, your tank's inside the ruins. It's touching it. I'm like, he's behind the wall. Really? He's like, yep. And I'm like, that's when you make the decision. You're like, all right, Double D, you are now over 50. Do you really want to be arguing with a retard, some late 20s, early 30s retard who wants to win so bad, he wants to pull that? It's not like you won like a bar of gold at the end of this 40K league. It was for fun. I am the most casual gamer. It's like, yeah, what do you want to, whatever you want to do. That one kind of got me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll give it to you. And then he did this one thing. He was conflating, like, I think it was like Age of Sigmar. I can't remember the exact, but he kept saying like Phantom Inch, Phantom Inch, Phantom Inch, and I kept going. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you mean by Phantom Inch, but I said go ahead and take it because it obviously meant a lot to him. And then at the counter, I asked Rocco, the guy at the counter, he's a good dude. I'm like, Rocco, what is this Phantom Inch? He's like, that's not in 40K. I think we're talking like it was either 8th or ninth edition. Whatever. They're probably on to like 13th by now, and it was only 3 years ago. He's like, that's not in 40K Phantom Inch. He's like, he was wrong, and I'm like, well, he won. Gaming is for XFL. I like your title, XFL Universe. Yeah, gaming is for incels. 50-50. Don't mean to anger anyone, but both are too old to run this country. I would say no, only because Trump, I think, still has it up here, and his decisions are going to be his, for better, or worse, I suppose, depending on your point of view. Better, in my opinion, because he was a good president, except for that Operation Warp Speed and trusting a little bit too much, in some people he shouldn't have trusted. But you could just tell he was trying to be a president to everyone. Well, if he gets in now, he's just going to be president for what has to be. And a lot of these people, if he is fortunate enough to win, they're just going to have to sit back and take it. Like Bobby Knight said, if GRAP is inevitable, sit back and enjoy it. No, don't. The quality of trolls has diminished greatly in the last year. Yeah, his girlfriend wants him to have a Phantom Inch. Yeah, yeah. I told that to Rogan. We have a lot of inside jokes, and I told that to Rogan because he's the only other 40K player in our group. Well, our friend Zolt, the movie guy, played a little bit too, but I told Rogan about this Phantom Inch story, and he kept chuckling about that. Phantom Inch, Phantom Inch. He brought back. Rogan did a something out of our past. Like in 2005, I used to take my son to the local game store to play Revenge of the Sith. Like they used to have a pre-painted miniatures game. I have a ton of those. They're probably worth something now. I bought a lot of those. So we would play. It was the Star Wars miniatures game. I think was it WizKids or Wizards? It might have been Wizards of the Coast. So we were playing this, and I would play with my son. And this one guy that me and my son would kind of play with, and they were okay to play with. They weren't like jerks, like to play with. They were actually okay. But Rogan met me at the shop, not the current shop. This is a long ago shop. So Rogan came by just to say hi to me and my son, and obviously Rogan's a gamer too, so he was kind of watching. And this guy that we were playing with, against whatever it was, he took out his dice, and it was like those dwarven rune dice. This is 2005, so 20 years ago almost. And Rogan's like, oh, those are cool. He brought them out, and they were on the table. So Rogan picked one up, just to look at it, like, oh, that's nice. And he was a little overweight, pretty much your typical gamer, if you know what I mean. And he said words that will probably Rogan and I will remember to the day we die. Don't touch my dice. Don't touch my dice. with that sort of lisp. Rogan's like, oh, I'm sorry, you put it down. I shot Rogan a look, that look of like, we'll talk about this later. And we had a gusty laugh about it afterwards. So Rogan is at the table playing last week, and he's like, I needed a new dice bag. And he's like, I saw this site where you can get a patch put on it, with anything you want. And sure enough, he took it out, and it was, don't touch my dice. Who's Hot X Edits? Is this someone I need to? Guys, my mom had babies. I think I may have to put you in timeout. Because I don't think anybody wants to see. Come on. My phone's down to like 15%, so I don't know if I can. I don't know. Blocked. Maybe I'll just remove them. There we go. Oh wait, that's just. See if I can hide him on the channel. I don't think you're an honest broker there, sir. Nobody wants to know if your woman had babies or where's Nightbot when you need him. Yeah, he's at home washing his tights. All right, let's see. See if we can see any birds. I think you can see the holes if you look close. Yeah, they're not biting today. But trust me, there are days when it's like Grand Central in that attic. Like they're going in, they're going out. So, all right. Well, guys, for a impromptu stream, very good turnout. Make sure to hit that like button if you could. Yeah, Tactic 26. Yeah. Yeah, I think we explained that. Mrs. D was kind of at fault. Rogan's wife was mostly at fault. Got to pick and choose your battles, guys. I won't like that, but we'll do it next Wednesday. Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll do an extended one. Not a lot happening in the RPG realm right now, so unless news break, we'll do our usual gab. It is an entertainment show after all, so we'll do stuff, in the gaming world, outside the gaming world. We will keep you entertained. Dance like grease-painted actors, as it were. It's been a hit. Yep, thank you guys so much for showing up. If you're in the States, have a great holiday. Go around front here. Oh, geez, I can't. All right, get around front here. All right, that's my neighbor across the street. Nice lady. They're both Republican voters, very strong, but she will talk your ear off if she sees you. So I'm gonna have to say goodbye out here and then crawl in a window or something. So I will. Boy, I don't even know how to turn this off. Well, I guess I just hit the X button. I don't do much of these like live on the fly ones. All right, guys. Peace. Love you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend in the States. If you're across the world, just have a great weekend. So we'll see you Wednesday. See if I can work on a video this weekend too. So peace. Love you. Goodbye.